Let's take you to Cross River State, where the APC governorship candidate, Senator Bassey Otu, is standing by to speak with us. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. Well, you've been quoted as saying that you have the capacity and experience to take over the reins of power in Cross River State. What capacity really and what experience are you talking about?
Yeah, good evening, Benga. Capacity in terms of what I can do. And in Cross River State, where we are right now, I believe that a progressive government is needed to take the state from where it is now forward. Capacity in terms of experience for the things that I've done, and capacity in terms of antecedents, to look back on the footprints of time to see those things which I've put down already. So I believe that all this put together is more than enough for me to take over the realms of affairs of Cross River State.
Yeah, but have you been able to sell your message in a way that the people in not just Odukpani, in every part of Cross River State, may have bought into it to advise the way they'll vote come Saturday, the 18th of March?
Oh, yes, that I've done. I'm so happy the way you've pronounced Odukpani. It means that you're somehow a Cross Riverian too. I've traversed the whole state about 3 times. I've moved to every nook and cranny. We did not just come out with the People First Manifesto. We made sure that we move around each local government and each big community to actually gather all the inputs they have and their suggestions before we now came with a document called the People's First Manifesto. And the People's First Manifesto, it's actually a determined intention, a desire to let Cross Riverians know that yes, times might be difficult now, not perilous, but there's a way out. And that way out is following that manifesto, which they have their inputs to take us to the next level.
Now let's talk about the next level, which you're very familiar with, having been a member of the PDP and now with the APC. What can you tell the people that you really can't do, perhaps, that the APC hasn't been, the PDP hasn't been able to offer your people? You still have time to actually speak to those key issues that you think that the Cross River people are in dire need of.
Well, Cross River State has suffered a lot in the past in terms of what I would say management of resources. We're coming as APC to give a proper lead and direction on how to manage the resources of the state. Cross River State was created with 11 other states. Today, it's difficult to rank Cross River State with any. But Cross River is actually a land of abundance. We have the 3 gateways to prosperity. We have the land, we have the air, and we have the sea. What of our long arable coastline? And then we as a position as an evacuation corridor. It is true that over the years, we've not attempted seriously to actually socket ourselves into this. Because if you look at all the federal government development plans, it's been such that Cross River State is positioned as an evacuation corridor. So I believe that the incoming government is going to do something very different, which I want to believe is only this last government that attempted to do. That is to socket us properly as an evacuation corridor, to make sure that our marine economy is immediately developed, to open up our jetties in order to rekindle those 600-year-old trips, which is used to go through from Calabar through Adon Beach up to Yala. And we are going to open up.
Let me comment here.
Estate.
Senator Otu, apologies for butting in. Let me quickly comment here. Aren't you worried, going by the outcome of the last election, the incumbent wasn't able to get the senatorial seat? Isn't that indicative of the dwindling popularity of your party in the state?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, there's a rising profile of the party in the state. Many factors accounted for what happened that Saturday. I believe that in due time, those factors will be looked at. But this particular election is completely different. The Cross Riverians are very enlightened. And what I've discovered is they don't really vote for parties per se too much. They vote for personalities. They vote for people they know. They vote for programs. So we have a sellable programs, both for Cross Riverians of all segments, the aged, the middle class, and of course, the youths. So I've carried this message to the nook and crannies, and I believe that they are ready to support the party. If you look at my deputy, he comes from that constituency of the youths, which is very strategic because we want to give them the assurance, we want to give them the guarantee that we must leave a proper legacy for them to build on.
Very interesting. It would be nice to know exactly what factors you think played out in the presidential elections that made the incumbent governor, Ben Ayade, lose his senatorial bid, and how that will not really rub off on your fortunes. And what would you say is the greatest need of Cross Riverians today as they go to the polls?
I think those factors that play out because parties have indicated that they will be going to courts. I don't think it's something that I would like to play on the or say talk about it on the television. But the greatest needs of Cross Riverians today is actually to set up a proper productive economy where they can be engaged and they can be happy. And this we've set about doing it because, like I said earlier, that what is impeding Cross River State from growing economically has been lack of a sustainable and a pragmatic, robust economy. The present governor has been able, to some extent, decouple up from the pawn strings of the civil service and then the federal allocations. The processes, the processing plans that he has put in place is going to put, by the time we populate the value chain, we'll have more than an economy to move on. Because if you look at it now, we have close to $1 billion economy that is ready to come on board as soon as the next government comes in.
Yeah, very interesting. But Cross River State, based on statistics, remains the worst, state for business. How are you going to turn that around and make it attractive for foreign investors and even those who want to invest? I mean, local investors.
If you look at it, in fact, in the past 2 years or thereabout, you will see that Cross River State has been climbing the scale of putting forward an enabling business environment. Beyond that, we are going to look at different sectors and different things that impede proper inflow of investments. One is security. Two is taxation. Three is to make sure that there are complementary agencies that will back up those investments, both in terms of probably the courts and name it. By the time we put all this in place, investors will come in. Already, just after going through my manifesto, most of them have been calling for us to have discussions. And I think with this, there's even more assurance that the economy is going to be robust moving into the future.
Okay, I'm curious. I mean, you referred to fondly as the Sweet Prince. Exactly how? Well, why? Why you referred to as the Sweet Prince?
Yes, actually, I was voted to Parliament in the year 2003. And when I got there, I went in there with a philosophy. It was basically to save the people. And it was since as that I discovered that not everybody will have a job at the same time. Not everybody will be elected or will have appointment. And that wherever we find ourselves, especially in the public service, we should use it to support each other so that people can arrive at their destination. So I decided to look at it, and after some time, I said, look, I have to come up with what I call an empowerment program. An empowerment program, both in terms of setting up small businesses, an empowerment program, but in terms of paying school fees, in terms of giving scholarships, in terms of certain employments, building houses, in terms of roads, water, hospitals, name it. And by the time I started this, in less than no time, they gave me that name. And that name got stuck on till today. So I believe I did not give myself the name, it's people that did. And the bonds of my trajectory has been service. And I know that I came to serve. That is why I normally have some issues with politicians who don't know what it is to serve the people. If you are coming to serve, if you want to make money, you can go into business and make money. But mine has been to serve the people. And my people can testify, and they can attest to the fact that I do it with all alacrity. That is why I was christened that name, and they believe in me.
Well, we'd like to thank you for your time, Senator Bassey Otu, the governorship candidate, Cross River State for the APC.